on the APEC VIP hotline, cutting edge training for the serious athlete, apecgo.com. Joining us now, the head basketball coach at Stephen F. Austin State University, Danny Kaspar. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great, Bryan. How you doing?
Doing terrific. Congratulations on a heck of a win, 56-55 over Oklahoma at Norman last night. How'd you do it?
Well, again, Bryan, I think they shot 37% from the field, and we lost the rebounding battle by 1, but with their size, I consider that a victory. And we had 17 offensive rebounds, and like I said, for the disparity in size and height, I'm considering that a big victory. So defense and rebounding won it for us.
What do you say? How do you explain that you guys are the team that keeps beating Oklahoma at Norman, and that's the only team that's been able to beat them in non-conference play over the last 4 years at home?
Well, yeah. You know, when we beat them, even in 2007, I think we broke a long, like 50 to 60 game winning streak, non-conference home losses, and then no one has beaten them since then except for us. So. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't expect them to ask us back to Norman for a while. But,
I was about to say, you're not going back to Norman anytime soon.
Anyway, but, like I said, I want to say we're the only team that's beaten them in almost 9 or 10 years, and they're not at home for home games in their non-conference schedule. So, I just don't think you can go up there and run with these quote big boys. You have to play really smart, I believe, and grind it out and hope you have a chance to win at the end. And that's pretty much the way we did. It was even though not a low scoring game, it was a very exciting game. I thought a lot of hustle, a lot of intensity for both teams, a lot of effort, and that's why I'm so proud of my guys. We didn't shoot the ball well. We shot at 40%. That's nothing to write home about. But again, I believe defense and effort was great. And I want to tell you something. We used Big 12 referees, but they gave us a really fair shake. I think we shot 6 free throws and they shot 11. And so that's a very consistently called game. Unlike the SEC, when we went to play A&M, we shot 6 and they shot 26, and that's hard to overcome.
Yeah. Hal Bateman played a heck of a game for you last night.
He did, and really our 2, what I call money game wins, that's, Bryan, guarantee games where we go up there and they pay us a good sum of money, and hopefully to lose. They're expecting us to lose those games. And, it's... Hal's been a key player in both those victories over Tulsa and now over Oklahoma. He's not scoring a lot of points. Matter of fact, I think he scored somewhere around 9 last night or 8. And against Tulsa, he had 7 or 8. But he had 11 assists in both games. And last night, he didn't have 1 turnover.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's tremendous. It's just, I just told him he's really turned into a player. He's turned into a young man that I'm proud to have in an SFA uniform versus last year. I was contemplating sending him home around Christmas, just because of, lack of a better word, hard-headedness and a little bit rebellious. But, that's what sometimes you happen. You get a good high school player, JUCO player, and they want it to be just like high school or JUCO. And like I told him, only 2 things in life are certain, death and change, because not everybody's paying taxes, I don't think.
We're not going into politics now. We're going to stay.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct.
All right.
I'm talking about both ends of the spectrum, both poor and the wealthy.
Exactly.
In that area.
Yeah. Okay. You trailed 30-26 at the half, but then you go out on a 14-2 run to start the second half, and that may be as big of a reason why you won the ball game as any, because you got as big as an 11-point lead at that point. What were you guys doing to go on that run?
Well, we really came out and just took it to them. Well, they were up on us 30-26 at half, and we just turned out. I mean, we hit the first 3 or 4 shots of the game. I have not seen the tape yet. Anyway, but we hit the first 3 or 4 shots of the game before they scored, And then I want to say we went on a 19-5 run, much of it fueled by turnovers, which led to easy, 2-on-1, 3-on-2 fast breaks.
Yeah, defense making the offense then.
Yes. We had a hard time scoring against them. They're not a huge team. They're more like 6'8". Their center and their power forward are 6'8", and very athletic. Their guards are all 6'2" to 6'4". The perimeter people, everything we did, they switched. Whatever offense we would do, they would just switch. If there's a screen, switch it. Ball screen, switch it. So, and you do that when you have players of the same size at all positions. And, so our offense was struggling against this switching defense. So we had to earn it on, a good portion of it off of turnovers in which we led to fast break.
And then you went real cold. You went 450 without scoring a point there at another point in the second half, and that allowed Oklahoma to come back in the ball game. But it's got to be gratifying that your team, even going through a cold spell like that, still manages to find a way to win the ball game.
Yeah, it does. And really, when you talked about us going through a cold spell, we missed 3 to maybe 4 shots right there at the basket that just rolled in and out. They were layups or short jumpers. And, but you're right, Bryan. We put ourselves in a position where if we could get just a little luck at the end, we could win the game. By jumping out to that big lead, they had to play catch up the whole night. And we got a break or two at the end, including the missed free throw at the very end by them.
So now your team's 8-1. How would you assess the way things are? How do you feel about this basketball team? Obviously, that's a huge win last night over a Big 12 opponent on the road, and that stands alone as being outstanding. But just in the body of work now after 9 games, how do you feel about the way your team's playing?
Well, we're playing well. I'm concerned about our lack of contribution from the bench area. We're not getting enough minutes from some of the, most of the recruits we signed, and they know that. That's my job to let them know that, and to work them hard to get them. Like I said, when I'm getting after you fellas, it's because I want to win and I want you to play, and I think those are 2 things you want. So, but I got a great group of kids. They're a little hard-headed, like I said earlier in our conversation about making some changes, but I told them they've graduated to a new level. We're no longer in high school or JUCO, and they got to quit doing some things that they could get away with at that level that they're not going to get away with at this level. And and we can't get injured. Last night we looked at one of my reserves broke a thumb, and he's out 4 to 5 weeks, and that's our first injury of the year. And as you know, Bryan, being good friends and have come to some of our games, we've been hit with injuries quite a bit the last 2-3 years. And this year we've been injury-free until last night. And that's got to continue. And if it does, if we don't have injuries and we keep playing as hard and with such intensity and teamwork as we're doing now, I like our chances. I really do.
You play Grambling on Thursday night at home at SFA. What do you know about them? How big of a challenge will that be?
Well, I think they have not won a game. They played a very tough schedule. I mean, the coaches at the SWAC schools, I feel sorry for them because they're being used as fundraisers. They go out and play about 9 or 10 guarantee games. Mm-hmm. And, so they played a very tough schedule and not won a game. I think they've had 1 home game.
Wow.
And so they got to come to us, and we need like I told the fellas, I said, everybody's excited. We're excited about what we did. Our fans are excited about what we did. And guess what? It'll all go down the drain if you lose that one. So I think we'll come to play. But, the next day we have a practice at 9 a.m. We'll practice 1 hour. I'll run their butts off to where they better realize if they eat too much cake and pie while they're home, it's going to be worse when they get back. And we'll go 1 hour with them and just say Merry Christmas and have them back in 4 days. And I'm worried about them thinking about Christmas going into today's practice and tomorrow's game.
Well, I'm sure you'll get their attention. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, I tend to act like Scrooge at last practice more than Santa Claus. So
Ebenezer Kaspar.
Yeah, so probably a good name for me on that particular day.
We are real excited about the win last night, Coach. Congratulations. Keep it up, and we look forward to talking to you down the line and looking forward to seeing your ball club real soon.
Well, thanks for having me on, Bryan, and Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Same to you, Danny. Thank you very much. Danny Kaspar, the head basketball coach of the Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks on Bryan Houston Sports Radio Live on 99.3 Talk FM.